Shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Turn these off. Hope all is well. Let me know if you guys could hear me. Or brothers, if you can hear me. Sisters, if you're in here, let me know if you can hear me. Hey, Canuck. Yes, I am here. This is awesome. Actually got the OBS to work for me this time and not break down. Hope everyone is doing good as I take a sip of my coffee. Yes, Juliet is in the building. Kelt, more volume, please. Really? My levels are almost peaking right now. I must not be speaking from the diaphragm. I work too much on the mood lighting because you can't have one of those things on camera. So I had to get that in the darkness. Ah, Palmetto Paratrooper, awesome. Bama Buckeye, Shalom. Father figure. That's what we should all strive to be, excellent father figures. I think my twin was just messing with me. Or they don't get internet that good, that far out, that far out west. Shalom, everyone. Bear Engine, we got to get you up here. Find something for you to do. It's a couple of trucks up here that need to be driven around for Grindstone. Speaking of that, everyone, make sure that you go to grindstoneministries.com and just check out all the stuff that we're doing with Grindstone, with Caleb House. Uh, can't really talk about the Millstone stuff that we do, but be sure to stay in the loop. Bobby Rice, you can hear me good. Well, you're in Cali. Cali is just that way, but once you go further up north, in was he in Washington State? He lives on a mountain, so he has to. Somebody has to yodel everything that I say to him because he lives up on top of a mountain behind a lake. Uh, Dustin Pribble, yes, we do. Especially once we start spinning things up again after this winter ice storm that we have going on right now. The Olympic Peninsula. I don't even know where that is. That is Seabass. I guess that's in Washington State. Got my hoodie the other day. That's awesome. Grindstone is the place to be. Oh, it's next to Washington. Awesome. Also on a mountain in Washington by a lake. It's a lot of you out there. So all of you need to hang out with my twin, Mark Chase. 50 people in the building already. Mr. Morris, what's going on? Well, uh, we've already been live for 4 minutes and 15 seconds and counting. I'm glad that you all could hear me well. You can see me well. And uh, we're going to be talking about murder today and the difference between murder and killing in the Bible. Yeah, that's true, Barrington. When Mark and I are together, you definitely can't tell us apart. No mountains in Northwest Indiana. That's awesome. So let's get it started in a couple of seconds. And we've been live for about 5 minutes now. and I hopefully I can pull this off. There's been a lot of things going on in my life personally. Some good things, some what some would consider bad things, some hurdles to get over. But the Father is keeping us steadfast in what it is that we're doing. So here we go. Let's start right here. Hey, there's everybody's chat right there on the screen. We are in we're in Exodus 20:13. You do not murder. But see right here, I have it in the scriptures 2009. But if you go to like the King James version, let's see, King James version, we scroll down some. Thou shalt not kill. So it changes things. The difference between kill and murder. Let's hop back over. TS. So you all can see it. You do not murder. So uh, when it comes to things about murder and killing, the King James version has done a bad thing in translation, trying to translate things to English, and it puts things completely out of context. When you uh one of the words called rat shack, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. If I could find it so you all could see it, let's tab over. Doo-doo-doo. We got to close that one and get that one up on the screen. Rat shack. Now so I could see it. It is to murder, to slay, or kill. It's something that's premeditated, uh, or accidental. The Avenger, which we will get into, and the Slayer as well. Nifal, to be slain, to murder, to assassinate, and to be killed. So there's so many different words throughout the Bible, and as you can see over to the right, the different verses, the amount of times that uh, that these words are seen in the Bible, especially when it's unedited to English, like in a King James version. You also have a few other meanings like nakah. Make sure that's up on the screen. Yes, it is. The Old Testament lexicon. You have the nakah, to be stricken, to be smitten, to kill, uh, hipfali, to smite, to beach, to scourge, to clap, applaud, to be smitten. There's so many different words, and as you can see, it's listed in so many different places throughout the Bible, but it all gets confused and brought down to murder. So, uh, when I'm sorry, do not kill, from the Ten Commandments. Some of our brothers went through the painstaking task of searching throughout the Bible. In Exodus 2, let me hop over there. Exodus 2. Doo-doo-doo-doo. And he has it at 12 through 14. But I don't have it on the screen. I have to switch that up. There we go. Exodus 2, 12 through 14. So he turned this way and that way, and then he saw no one. He struck the Mitzrayim who hid him in the sand. And he went out on the second day and saw two Hebrew men fighting. And he said to the one who did wrong, "Why do you strike your neighbor?" And he said, "Who made you head and judge over us?" Do you intend to kill me as you killed the Mitzrayim? And Moshe feared and said, truly, the matter is known. So what ends up happening here is your heart condition. For murdering somebody, you can uh you can do that in your mind without physically putting harm into someone, but when uh when you kill someone, that is uh, I guess you could say a crime of passion, where um uh, where the difference from my understanding is that if you're murdering someone, you had full intent. You wanted to go out and destroy. The same thing if you were to kill an animal, if you had the murderous intention in your heart to do harm to someone, let alone you trying to uh, uh, have sustenance in your for you in your family, that's why you would end the life of an animal. But if you go out and torture them, that's a problem. If you're going to murder someone, uh where you can talk bad about them and put them into a place where everyone around you thinks like that about them, and you do not correct the slander that you're doing, they can retaliate against you. Uh, and if you do put harm to a person or try to use a weapon up against someone, that can uh, their family member can retaliate against you. Recently, the Refuge Medical Team, we went out to SHOT Show in Vegas, which was a giant gun convention. But what really stood out to me wasn't the convention itself. It was a wide open, vast land that we had to cross over a few states, and seeing how spread apart people are. Granted, we live set apart out here, but when you're going hundreds of miles and not seeing anything or anyone, you can understand when someone is seeking refuge after they've taken someone else's life, how far apart uh, those towns would be before there is refuge, before there is a judge that will be able to hear, uh, that would be able to hear uh, what their plea is and why they did what they did, so that uh, someone coming after them, a family member that was trying to uh, recoup that murder, I guess you could say an eye for an eye type thing, uh, that's where the trial would happen. But if that person got to them before they reached that land of refuge, no one would know or hear the reason why it happened. Let's see. Let me hop in the chat real quick. Mad Celt, it's a heart condition. Rockstar 69, I always felt murder was of the innocent, but killing was the act of taking life. Could or be needed could be needed or on accident. You're correct. Do not off the innocent or not the guilty enough. Murder their character. Right. You don't want to do that. If you have to kill and take a life, uh, that if you boil murder down into just killing, that simplifies why things happen. If you go to battle, if you go to war, and it's for a righteous cause, you are in the right, and no one can take you to task for that. The same thing when the Father uh, commanded the Israelites to to kill. It wasn't a thing of murder because it wasn't premeditated. he told them to kill to wash the lands of the pagan idolatry that was going on in the world. Rockstar69 said, I read Jasher 38 this week. Jacob's boys were savage. Yes, they were. Where is another point that I wanted to get to? Numbers 35, 11 through 12. Then ye shall appoint you cities of refuge for you, that the slayer may flee thither, can't pronounce that word, which killeth any person. That's something that we just talked about, uh, going to the cities of refuge, so you can actually have a trial. Because if you live out in the middle of nowhere, there's no court, there's no one there to protect you. It's almost like the Western movies that we used to watch when we were young. It's the wild wilderness, but once you get to that little town, the law is the law, and you can seek refuge there, even if somebody is chasing you. Uh, and if you take it to court and plead your case, if you're wrong, uh, the slayer that's coming after you is going to take you out. Uh, and Dragon Shield said, and the refuge city is very different than a modern sanctuary city. Yes, indeed it is, because it's supposed to be just and righteous men there that are able to hear your pleas. What about being sent to war for someone else's unjust cause? That that I do not have a true answer for. Uh, but if your heart is convicted otherwise, then you need to stand by your conviction and be willing to deal with those consequences. Refuge is lawful, sanctuary city, not so much. That is very true. I want to hop over to another word that I found out. Uh, let's get that here. Hop back over. This is a word, finio, that I've never heard before. And it is another word that's seen throughout the Bible, uh, that the definition is to kill, to slay, to murder, to commit murder. And where are my notes on that? Uh, nope. I No, we already read that, about the Revenger of Blood, where uh, he would be just if the person that murdered someone in their family, the Revenger of Blood, would have the righteous finio, however you pronounce that, when they are to murder in revenge, because you cannot get a you cannot get that life back. So when you hear eye for an eye, or like if you steal something, biblically, you are supposed to return that plus more. If you are to uh, if you are to uh, take someone's life, you are to give your life plus more. There has to be uh, a recompense. There has to be honor given back when you take someone's life unjustly, when you murder unjustly. There have been a few times. Wait a minute. Let's see. Hop back in the chat. Crazy Canuck said, also read about David. Although he did in the name of the Father due to blood on his hands, he was not allowed to build the temple. Killing has its price. Yes, you would be cast out and looked at as lower class. Think that point knocks it out the park. Crazy Canuck. Restitution, yes. Long step prep. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Perfect time to finish work. Hello from Florida. Shalom. Uh, Here's a personal story of mine. Through all of the life experiences that I've had, whether it was being a bodyguard or working security, there have been times where people have died in my custody, whether it was at someone else's hands or I was involved in causing the end of that life. Uh, when there is a action, there's a instant reaction. One of the ones that bothered me for a while had nothing to do with technically an action against me. When I played semi-pro football, there was a guy that his own action led to his death when at one point I hit him and it caused cardiac arrest on him. But he was, if you guys remember the weight loss drug, uh, was that Stacker Twos? He was on Stacker Twos and Red Bull, and he was an amazing football player. I felt like he should have been in the NFL the way that he was destroying me off the ball. But uh, his time, due to his choices, came at that moment, and I ran him over, landed on top of him, and then a moment or two later, because of my action, I caused his death. There was no uh there was no one coming after me. There was no legal counsel that was needed because he signed a waiver. There was no malintent in my heart that caused the end of his life. So uh, that is the difference between murdering someone and killing someone. Because if you kill someone and you did not have uh, the bloodlust to in that person's life, you were either protecting yourself or maybe you were driving, got into a car accident. There was no intent that you were seeking out to destroy someone. But if you do have that venom in your heart and you go out to try to destroy someone, uh, not only will the law come after you, but the Father will come after you in your generations. It's not something that anyone would want, but it's the truth, and it will echo uh, well throughout. But before we finish out, I'll check to see if there are any questions in the chat. Uh, let's see. Uh, Talking about some Marines eating crayons. Uh, Bear has a great video. Father God loves soldiers. Yes, he does. I do have bloodlust, but only for evil. Well, I don't know if that would be bloodlust. That would be wanting to purify and see good in the world, because that is the exact same for me. Just like I train uh, violence. That has been my life for many years, and that gives me peace where I can go around and smile every day because my life has been nothing but violence, whether it was uh, security, bodyguard work, being a mixed martial arts fighter, doing kickboxing, boxing, uh, training for training with weapons, training to subdue people, training with knives. There is a lot of violence uh, that comes out of me, but I have to keep that at bay to be able to shine the light that the Father has bestowed upon me and go through the world peaceful until I have to react to contact. It is in if I'm ever to have to take someone's life, it be righteous and not some over something frivolous or just an act of passion. I have to not walk on eggshells, but be preemptive with whatever I do, wherever I go, so I am not uh, instigating a problem that I then have to solve. You never want to do that. Uh, let's see. Zeal, righteousness, evil eraser. Yes, indeed. You want to uh, keep your act strong as you go through the world, and only use it if you need to. Uh, Hospital protocols killed my dad last year. Gotta say, I've had to repent for my want for vengeance. Father Yah says vengeance is his. Well, hospital protocols, uh, where does it lead you? It is a chain um, of people writing the rules. Where could that vengeance even go to? Like, is it a boardroom of people that you would have to end? Would it have to look like the first RoboCop movie and just clear out a whole floor? It is so hard to direct uh, your pain and sorrow for something that happened to someone where of there's no direct line of murder. It's a series of unfortunate events to get to that matter. So all I can say to you is pray and uh, go and see those at the city of refuge to see if there is any compensation that could be had from that hospital. Uh, my first thoughts were not good ones about those people. See, Palmetto Paratrooper, I like to think of it more like funneling rather than keeping it at bay. Yes, that is very true. Just like the Incredible Hulk, I am always angry, but that keeps me on my toes so that I can be peaceful everywhere that I go. Uh, be hit with the love of the Lord. Yeah, that's this fish right here. This is the love of the Lord. Uh, Do not judge by the way of violence, Yah will repay. Yes, indeed, he will. That's why you have to stay in prayer. Because if you carry those burdens, it's going to weigh you down. And until you're so angry that you can't even remember what you're angry about. Pray for peace, prepare for war. Yes, indeed. Some of us love Yahweh, but some of us are his knuckles. Yes. The hospital should have a review board to appeal to. Also, county medical board. Yes, indeed. So brothers, and if there are any sisters on here, I thank you for watching. There's so much more that I could go into, but whenever I am talking to anyone, I try to personalize things and not just throw scriptures back and forth. I would uh, say to yourself, especially with this technology that we have, you can go and search out any um, any book in the Bible. Hey, did I? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I hid the chat box. You can search out any book in the Bible and be able to uh, be able to find your pathway through scripture to get better understanding, because reading the word yourself is the key, not listening to me or someone else getting their own interpretation. You can definitely always ask for questions. Well, ask questions and try to get better understanding, but that understanding needs to come from you immersing yourself in your word so you can get closer to your creator and understand, get a better understanding uh, on the unexplainable, so you can purify your heart even through tough times and not hold on to any of those burdens or anger that you may have. So I think that's about it for me. Uh you guys are welcome. Yes, have a great rest of the week. I love you all, and